So, dear colleagues, dear members of Dissertation Council, the Council of approved the 7 members of the Dissertation Council. So I think this Dissertation Council notice will be recorded. All 7 members of Dissertation Council are present based of attendance sheet, including permanent members of Dissertation Council, 3 people. Subekov, Chairman of Dissertation Council, Doctor of Technical Science, Professor of Specialty Geotechnical Engineering, Professor of Department of Civil Engineering of UNU. Shahmov Jambulat, Deputy Chairman of Dissertation Council, Acting Scientific Secretary of Dissertation Council, PhD, Associate Professor in the Specialty Civil Engineering, Associate Professor of Department Civil Engineering, Гумилев Еврейский национальный университет. Тулебекова Василия Сериковна, PhD, Associate Professor in Specialty Civil Engineering, Associate Professor of Department of Civil Engineering of UNU. Temporary members of Dissertation Council, 4 members. Adimollam Buminat Khan, Doctor, Professor of Department of Civil Engineering of Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, India. Agnieszka Dabska, Doctor of Technical Sciences, Adjunct Professor of Department of Hydraulic Engineering and Hydraulic in the Warsaw Polytechnic University, Warsaw, Poland. Kotov Pavel Igorovich, Candidate of Geology and Mineralogy, Manager of very biggest company, Norilsk Nickel, one of manager, Norilsk, Russian Federation. Жукенова Гульнара Абаевна, PhD, Head of Department of Industrial, Civil and Transport Constructions of Togagirov University, Pavlodar City, Republic of Kazakhstan. Official reviewers present also here, Дичимбаев Визим Насевич, Doctor of Technical Science, Professor of the Faculty of General Constructions of Kazakh, leading Architecture and Civil Engineering Academy, Almaty, Republic of Kazakhstan. Пронозин Яков Александрович, Doctor of Technical Science, Professor of the Department of Construction Productions, Тюмень Industrial University, Тюмень, Russian Federation. Also, we have scientific advisor of our PhD students, Тулебекова Василия Сериковна, PhD, Associate Professor of Department of Civil Engineering of UNU, Astana, Kazakhstan. Masaoki Hyoda, PhD, Professor of Graduate School of Science and Technology for Innovation at the Yamaguchi University, Yamaguchi, Japan. So let's begin registration in the system Smart UNU KZ. The word is given the scientific secretary.
Dissertation Council members and reviewers to register in the information system Smart UNU KZ. Everyone has instructions on how to work in this system. It is necessary to select PhD candidate Жанкиной А from the list. You should click conducting defense button, then register button. So please, now we should go through the Smart UNU KZ platform.
Теперь там нам нужно будет, Асиль, зарегистрироваться, да? Просто нажать зарегистрироваться, да?
Так, диссертационные
Жамбулат.
советы, Жамбулат.
Нет, там, когда вы заходите, там есть будет карточка докторанта. Потом в карточке докторанта вы увидите внизу будет Жанкина А, и там будет написано, и как вы на нее нажмете, там у вас выйдет сверху такая вкладочка «Проведение защиты» будет. Вот, вы нажмете на это «Проведение защиты», и
Я
все, в принципе.
в самом начале пути, вот у меня выпал, то есть ЕНУ, КЗ, и выпал сайт общий, диссертационный совет, да? Нет или нет?
Совет. И...
У вас потом есть Жанкина А в списке, Яков Александрович? Потому что мы вас не видим в базе. Хотя мы с вами проверяли, и вы были.
Да. Ну вот я на диссовет нажимаю, вот слева колонка.
Да. Потом карточка
Где
докторанта
там?
выходит.
Как
Да, выходит. Сейчас.
Жанкину выберите.
Да, все
Зарегистрироваться?
вижу. Все,
Вы на
сейчас.
Жанкину
Фамилии
зарегистрироваться
моей нет
нажмите.
уже. Вот зарегистрироваться.
Да, давайте.
Теперь что? Че?
Спустите.
Закрыть.
Да?
Да?
Скажи,
Мы вас не
Павлович.
видим.
Да, вы видите меня?
У Якова
Да.
Александровича у него...
Где тут голос? Голос нет.
Так, ну я на нее нажимаю, тут синенький фон, но ничего не происходит. Право колесико, может, какое-то, нет?
Нет, там наверху еще есть зеленое. Посмотрите. Теперь вверх.
Все,
Вот на него нажать.
точно, да. У меня все. Зарегистрироваться, да?
Так, вы меня видите, да? Василий Сериковна?
Все нормально,
Вы
мы
меня
вас
видите?
видим. Да.
Все уже, да? Я зарегистрирован, да?
Да, вы зарегистрированы. Остался Изим Насевич, тоже зарегистрирован, нормально все. Теперь вот профессор Адимулам Буминатан не зарегистрирован еще. Вот. Профессор Буми.
Так, вот это закрыть. Выйти сюда, да?
I just opened that registration under progress.
Жамбулат, я в системе уже, да?
One bolt. I just went on that, but it shows that registration under progress.
Сейчас вас добавят. Сейчас вас добавят. Professor Buminatan, you have you should open the dissertation console on the left. In the smart, in the left side, you have the button dissertation console. After that, you should choose the doctorand. The card name of the doctorand, put in here, and after that you have the list of the 3 doctorants, and you should choose one of them, who is the name Jankina A.
I already clicked actually.
Yes, and in the
Now you can see that.
okay, now
okay?
you're okay. Yes, now you're okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
Яков Александрович,
Да.
вы вот только сейчас появились, поэтому вам сейчас только что вообще в списке вас не было. И сейчас вот вы появились, там техническая заминка получилась. Мы вот только что связались, и теперь вам опять нужно будет эту процедуру провести.
Понятно. Выхожу обратно.
Все.
Появился, да?
Да, все, спасибо. Так,
Thank you.
сейчас мы проверим еще раз список и вам скажем. Да. So, okay, now registration is fulfilled. Thanks. We could continue. So, Professor Askar, please. All members of the dissertation council and reviewers successfully registered. Аскар Жапаевич, у вас микрофон отключен.
So I suggest opening of meeting of dissertation council. The decision is made by voting. I understood special electronical voting. Will there any suggestions? No. Yeah? So those who is for, please vote. Please vote. Open voting.
I'm
Okay,
also voting.
full, да? Okay, full. So 7 people, against no, abstained no. It is agreed. Let's the meeting of dissertation council be considered open. We proceed of the work of dissertation council. Today agenda, the defense of dissertations, PhD thesis of Жанкиной А. She is PhD student, a specialty of civil engineering, on the topic investigations of method to improve soil basis in collapsible areas for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in specialty civil engineering. Each member of dissertation council is presented in advance with abstract of the dissertation of the 3 languages. The thesis being defended for the first time. They announce the main content of the documents are submitted by the applicant and the compliance with the established requirements. The word is given for acting scientific secretary, Dr. Jambalat. Please, Shakmov.
Okay. All documents according to the list of documents to be submitted by the applicant to the dissertation council. In the case of Жанкиной А, in place and meet the established all of the requirements. Reviews by scientific advisors and reviews by official reviewers are received to the council. The draft conclusion of the dissertation council is issued to all members of the council. Professor Askar, please. У вас микрофон отключен, скажи, пожалуйста.
So, for beginning of presentations of report, the word is given, will be given for PhD students, Жанкиной А. So please, Айжан.
Good afternoon, dear commission members and listeners. Let me present to you the topic of my presentation, investigation of methods to improve soil basis in collapsible areas. Supervisor, PhD Associate Professor Tulebekova Vasilия Sergeyevna, and International Supervisor, PhD Professor Masayuki Hyoda, Yamaguchi University. The presentation will consist of following parts: introduction, first part, feature of designing collapsible soils, case study, Bikal material ground construction, engineering and geological conditions, plate bearing test and results, static load test and results, and pile integrity test and results. Then we will consider constructive technological solutions and their verifications, followed by recommendations by using methods to improve soil basis in collapsible areas will be given, and conclusion. So the key points of my research as following the purpose of research, developing recommendation for using practical workflow, improve soil bases in collapsible areas, research program analysis for existing methods for improving collapsible soils in design, investigation of the properties of collapsible soil by laboratory and field methods, development of design and technological solution in the construction of the road structures. The scientific novelty of research is the development of methodology to improve soil bases in collapsible areas by piles and applying reinforcing geotextile materials for regional soil conditions. As a result of investigation, recommendation will be developed for the designing structures on collapsible areas. The research design is based on construction of the Bakat facility, Bikalmati Ring Road. The investigation was carried out in two directions. The first main direction included research of collapsible soil by laboratory and field tests, such as plate bearing test, static load test, pile integrity test. And second, an additional direction was to verify the proposed constructive and technological solutions experimentally by means of the compression device. The result is developing recommendation for using practical workflow, improve soil bases in collapsible areas. So the first part of my presentation is a feature for designing on collapsible soils. The main characteristic features of loamy soils are yellow-brown and pale yellow color, high dusty, increased porosity, low natural humidity, ability to keep vertical slope, high carbonate content, and non-layered texture. It should be highlighted that the territory of the Republic of Kazakhstan is characterized one of the most problematic engineering and geological conditions. Nearly a third of country's territory is covered by collapsible soils. So next, let me briefly describe the principles of construction on collapsible soils. When designing on collapsible soils in which subsidence soils are located, two types of ground conditions are distinguished. First type soil conditions in which collapsing of soils from the external load is primarily possible, and the collapsing of soils from their weight is absent or does not exceed 5 centimeters. Second type soil conditions in which, in addition to the collapsing of soil from the external load, the weight is possible and their size exceeds 5 centimeters. Today, in the work practice, use different methods and ways to eliminating collapsing properties, such as hydrocompaction, decrease foundation pressure, solidify the soils, remove collapsible soils, densify, reinforcement with geosynthetics, one solution solidifications, and other methods including pile scications and deep blasting combined with pre-wetting. So the object of research is a Bikalmati Ring Road or Bakat. Let me make a small remark. To create an efficient and competitive transport infrastructure in Kazakhstan, the State Program of Infrastructural Development Nurlozhol for 2020-25 was developed. Its main objectives are to improve the technological, scientific, methodological, and resource provision of the infrastructure complex, and to facilitate the attraction of big transit. Within the framework of the program, the construction of Big Ring Road was started, which once again emphasized the relevance of this research. The primary purpose of Bakat is to relieve the streets of Almaty from traffic. The customer is the Almaty Regional Department of the Committee for Roads of the Ministry of Transport Communication of the Republic of Kazakhstan, who was the concession contract for the construction and operation for the road with the consortium Alsy-Malarka, Makyol, SK, and Korea Expressway. It is expected that the Bakat project will divert transit traffic from the city, reducing the city's pollution, decreasing traffic congestion, reduction of the road accidents, ensure the growth of regional and international trade, as the project is a part of the transcontinental highway between Western Europe and Western China. The length of the road is 66 kilometers and assigned category 1A, and will consist of 21 bridges, 8 biomodal interchanges, 2 overpasses, and 18 overbridges. The road will have 4 to 6 lines and designed for speed up to 150 kilometers per hour. The beginning of the road, so-called zero picket, is located in the western part of Almaty, near the village Kralda, and the end of the road is on the east part of the city and ends near the village Isaiva. The road consists of the 6 parts. I will present to you the section number 1. The section number 1 is located in the Karasai district of Almaty region. The territory of the work area is potentially non-flood prone, except from bridge crossing the river Aksai. Seismicity of the work area is 9 points. During the geotechnical surveys, it was determined 16 engineering geological elements, where engineering geological element 4, brown loose like loam, has subsidence. Initial collapsing pressure is 0.050 kilogram per centimeter square, and geotechnical profile as collapsing belong to the first type. So, according to the GORS soil plate bearing test methods, stamp tests were carried out at the site. Work was carried out to investigate the bearing capacity of the embankment and excavation of the basement soil. The tests were carried out at 3 points in dry condition and 3 points in wet conditions. In this figure, you can see the stamp installation with the rotary console operating by balance beam principle. So the next slides show the data obtained in the stamp test are presented in table number 1, where we can see how the parameters of the soil change, it is wet and dry conditions. The following slides show the graphs of the depends of stamp settlements on pressure. So based on the result of the stamp test, we can draw the following conclusion. On dry soil, the average modulus of deformation for 3 points is 34.19 megapascal. The average modulus of elasticity is 57.65 megapascal. And according to the test, the coefficient of compaction ranges from 0.99. On wet soil, the modulus of deformation is 7.24 megapascal. The average modulus of elasticity is 35.96 megapascal, and the coefficient of compaction fluctuates within 0.9. The shape of the graph of general deformation corresponds to the linear depends. There is no loss of bearing capacity. Also, in this section of the road, static testing of pile number 16 on support number 5 was carried out. Here is the general view of support number 5 prepared for the test and scheme of the pile field test. Static tests were carried out to according GOST field methods of testing by piles. The tested pile was loaded uniformly without knocks in step of load, the value of which was set by the test program, but taking no more than 1/10 of the maximum load on the pile specified in the program. When testing piles of bridge supports, a settlement rate not exceeds 0.1 meters in the last 16 minutes. Here is a typical scheme of the test bench, which consists of composite beam, supporting pipe, and hydraulic equipment set. Moving of boring pass was fixed by caving in measures of the type 6 PAO. The data obtained during the static load test presented at table number 2. The force generated by the jacks on the first load step was 36, and each following load step increased by 36. Unloading was carried out in stages equal to twice the value of the loading stages, with the exposure time of each step 50 minutes. The results are presented as graphs of result of total pile settlement at all stages of the test, and graph of pile settlement result by loading stages. The maximum load is 361 with an average settlement 4.05 millimeters. The results show that the bearing capacity of pile number 16 on support number 5 is sufficient to withstand the maximum design load. In this screen shows an additional test, pile integrity. Piles number 2, 3, 20, and 21 was tested. Tests were conducted according to the GOS development of testing piles for uniformity. In the first stage, a series of impacts was applied. At the second stage, the speed of the acoustic wave propagation of concrete pile rod was determined. The third stage is the kernel processing. So we can make the following conclusions from the obtained reflectogram. Facts of significant changes in cross-sectional profile of piles have not been revealed. Zones of discontinuity and the compaction of the concrete in the cross-section of profile have not been revealed. In general, the length of the piles corresponds to the design. So let's move to the point of my presentation: constructive technological solutions and their verification. The design pavement structures is a responsible stage, and the thickness of asphalt concrete range from 0.11 to 0.38. The constructive solutions of recommended pavement are shown in the figures. The first figure proposes the constructive solution for the embankment, and second one for the solution for road pavement. It was decided to investigate the subsidence behavior of the soil with geosynthetic materials. Verification of structural and technological solution was carried out to the method proposed by Valery Mustakimov, the essence of which is to simulate collapsible soil using the distributed loam and quicklime. The procedure for the experiment as follows: preparation of the mixture, laying the mixture, soaking, drying, installing the shearings with the dried sample in the atometer, conducting an experiment, plotting the dependence of the sample height change on the load, and determination of collapsing before and after reinforcement. So let me explain to you in detail about this experiment. A mixture of distributed loam and quicklime was used to prepare the quasi-collapsible soil. The mixture in different ratios was laid to the shear rings. After soaking until the complete water saturation, there was quenching of the lime with a significant increase with the volume of the sample. The increase in volume was in the range 70–90% due to the formation of macropores. After complete quenching, the samples were subjected to drying. The next sample were placed in odometer to the experiment. There were 6 samples, 3 samples without geotextile and 3 samples with geotextile. After the rings were installed, the specimens were subjected to uniaxial compression. The loading was performed in stage, and each loading was held until the settlement stabilization. The load was applied 1 kilogram at a time up to 5 kilogram, and to obtain subsidence, soaking the specimen at 3 kilogram occurred during the experiment. And each loading strain values were taken from the clock type indicators. The coefficient of relative collapsing was used to describe the degree of subsidence. So this slide shows the results in tables and graphs for the simple with the ratio 60% loam and 30% lime. The coefficient of compaction of the simple unreinforced simple was 0.03, and for the reinforced simple is 0.021. The following slide shows the results with the ratio of 50% lime and 50% loam. The coefficient of relative collapsing for unreinforced geotextile is 0.035. For the reinforced one is 0.03. The next slide shows the result for containing 40% loam, 60% quicklime. The coefficient of compaction for the unreinforced simple is 0.04, and for the reinforcing simple is 0.031. So this here in this table you can see the change of quasi-soil coefficient of relative collapsing when changing the percentage ratio of components with and without geotextile reinforcement. The following conclusion can be drawn from the data obtained. Rapid deformation of quasi-collapsing soil occurs during the wetting, and similar to the real process that occurs in collapsing soils during the soaking. According to the value of coefficient of relative collapsing, we can conclude that in each case, quasi-soil turned out on collapse, and the collapsing of quasi-soil increases when the content of quicklime increases. And the geotextile reinforced quasi-soils gives less spike-like collapsing under soaking than quasi-soil without geotextile. Which means that the reinforcement of quasi-collapsing soil by geomaterials, namely geotextile, allows for increasing the bearing capacity of soil and improving its deformation properties. So the following recommendation by using methods to improve soil basis in collapsible areas will be given. First is when designing structures on collapsible soils, it should be considered the possibility of increasing the moisture content due to the soaking the soil from the external sources. Provide measures to prevent the penetration of surface anthropogenic water into the foundation. Provide runoff and channel regulating structures. It is necessary to apply the pavement capping layer structure in areas where the groundwater level is close to the bottom. To determine the bearing capacity of low soils, soil basis for roads, one should rely on the results of field tests and application of the comprehensive approach to improving soil basis in collapsible areas. Next are the conclusions. Analysis of physical and mechanical properties of collapsible soil was executed. Comprehensive research was carried out, plate bearing test and static load test of piles of the soil by piles. To verify the integrity of the shaft, pile shaft, it is recommended to conduct a pile integrity test. Numerical modeling makes it possible to determine the stability of the road embankment, and experimentally substantiated the applied practical workflow for improving soil basis, which include the use of pile foundations and reinforcement with geosynthetic materials. It has been laboratory proven the reinforcement of the collapsing soil with geomaterials, namely geotextile, increases the bearing capacity of the soil and improves its deformation properties. The scientific results are brought to practice use, developed and implemented regional recommendations on the object bucket, the use of which allows to improve the quality of design and construction of the road on collapsible soils. So, in collaboration with my scientific advisor, Tulibekova Vasilya Sergovna, we received a certificate of authorship, methodology of improvement of soil basis in collapsible areas, and I have an implementation act of research result of the dissertation work. According to the requirements of rules for degree award of the Committee of the Ministry of Science and Higher Education of the Republic of Kazakhstan, I have published one article in journal included in Scopus database with the 35th percentile. 7 articles were published in the journal recommended by Minister of Science and Higher Education of the Republic of Kazakhstan, and 3 articles were also published at international conferences. Also, I took part in the international conference ICMG 20 in Australia. Here you can see the certificate issued by the conference organizers. And the first photo, you can see our delegation from UNU, consisting of teachers, doctoral students, and director of Geotechnical Institute, Professor Jurspek Vaskarjak Pavich. And the following joint photo with the past president of ASCE, Professor Jean-Louis Briot, and Mr. Nikolai Aleynik, General Director of Land Thesis Ltd. So the next final slide showed pictures of me with Alcim Alarkas, leading expert at the Bakat facility, where I had a scientific and practical internship. So thank you for your kind attention. If you have any question, please ask.
Thank you, Ayjan, for your informative presentations. So I think some questions maybe come from audience, from member of council meeting, please.
Professor Askar, I have one question.
Yes, Professor Bumi.
So
Yes.
Yeah, she has done good work. She has done plate load test as well as static pile load test. Plate load test also, static load test only. So she has to specifically tell this is static pile load test, not simply static load test. So that both are static test only.
Excuse me, can you repeat?
Yes. No, you have done plate load test.
Yes,
That
I have
also
done,
static load test only.
I have done plate bearing test or stamp test and pile static load test.
Yeah, that word pile you have to use that actually.
Yes.
Otherwise it will be confusing actually. Okay, you have used lime actually.
Yeah.
Why you should not use cement?
Because I propose to use methodology proposed by Valery Mustakimov to modeling the quasi-collapsible soil. He used quicklime and loam, disturbed loam to the modeling the quasi-collapsible soil, because after the soaking this mixture, there was a quenching, and due to this formation the macropores like a real collapsible soils.
Okay. Generally, we have 4 types of reaction occur when lime we are mixing with the soil. So for your case, which chemical reaction responsible for improving the collapsible or reducing the collapsibility of the soil?
Excuse me, can you repeat the?
Yeah. There are 4 chemical reaction occurs when soil mixing with the lime. You know that or not? There are basic 4 chemical reactions. One of the reaction or 2 of the reaction may be responsible for reducing collapsibility of the soil. My question is that which chemical reaction is basically beneficial for reducing collapsible potential of soil?
Ayjan, you understood? Ayjan?
Not, I don't think
so. Он спрашивает, вот химические добавки применяет на таких вот грунтах, которые вот на просадочных грунтах, химические добавки. Вот какие добавки вы в курсе вообще? Есть ли такой вот, добавляется такая методика? Вы в курсе или не в курсе? Имеете ли вообще понятие об этом?
Да, конечно.
Можно на английском отвечать, на английском.
Of course, for improve the properties of collapsible soils, use a different chemical elements to improve the collapsible soils. But in my dissertation work, I use field tests such as static load test and applying geosynthetic materials, namely geotextile.
Okay, you have not answered full question answer, but anyway, thank you.
Thank you,
So-
Professor Bumi. Thank you. So please, next questions.
Can I?
Павел. Доктор Павел
Жан.
Котов.
Yes,
Yes.
Ajahn, thank you. I have some questions. First, it's did you compare field and laboratory test results of your work in your work?
Yes, of course.
Could you tell us about the differences and separately for strengths and deformation properties?
We made the laboratory test and field test, and what do you mean? Excuse me, I don't understand.
Where strength characteristic more, where less, and why?
The deformation.
More than 3 times or 2 times or mainly in 30%, something like that.
When I conducted laboratory tests for the soil in this area, or where I modeling the quasi soil.
In test area.
Yes. I have the some laboratory tests to obtain the liquid limit, plastic limit, index of plasticity.
Yes. I mean it's mechanical properties like bearing capacity and strength properties in the laboratory. Deformation properties in the laboratory and deformation properties in plate test. What's the difference between laboratory and field?
Okay. Thank you for your question. Modulus of deformation obtained from the laboratory test is less than the modulus of deformation when we obtain it from the field test.
About the strength properties.
And strength properties, I think field tests take more correctly, and I think the gives more strange properties because it gives more correctly information about the properties of the soil than the laboratory test.
Okay, and what's the reason of differences between laboratory and field test in your test area? What's the main factor?
Main factors that the field test gives a more correct and более точный data obtained from the laboratory test.
What's the reason?
Какая
I understand that it's more correct, but the reason of this correction?
Because we made this field test in area in the soil conditions, it's natural and как вам объяснить? Потому что сохраняются все природные свойства именно когда проводишь испытания именно на полевыми способами, полевыми тестами, нежели если мы будем брать образцы. Ну, в любом случае сложно сохранить вот эту вот структуру, которая имеет немаловажную роль при определении механических и прочностных свойств грунта.
Про масштабный эффект что-нибудь знаете?
Ну, имею представление, да.
Could you explain what does it mean?
When we use masshtabic tested, we can take more data obtained in this area, I think.
No. Okay, thank you. Another question, why did you test pile if you will use embankment for this road? Why it's so necessary to test pile?
What is necessary to test pile?
Почему вы проводили тестирование этих pile как-то?
Свай?
Свай, да. Если у вас насыпь будет, дорога в насыпи, зачем вам нужно было тестировать?
Так как этот объект содержит не только как бы саму дорогу, да, состоит не только из самой дороги, но еще и из опорных мостов, мостовых переходов, и они как бы располагают их на свайных фундаментах. Поэтому проводили мы, и так как это этот объект располагается на просадочных грунтах, поэтому мы и проводили эти испытания.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have some question. So, Ayjan, what is your future work you want to do regarding to this topic?
Thank you for your question.
It is first question, and second question, how about the regarding to the chemical and physical properties of the soil in the construction site? What you could see about this?
First, thank you for your question. First question, I want consideration of other reinforcing materials, as well as application of other methods to improve the basis on collapsible soils, take into account the regional characteristics of different areas or regions. And second question is about the physical and mechanical properties of soil. Yes, we obtained the physical and mechanical properties of this soil in this section regarding to the GOST classification and laboratory methods to determine of physical characteristics.
Okay, as I understand, you use mainly using the geosynthetical materials, yes, for improving the soil condition. You are not using the chemical aggregates to improve the soil ground, as I understand, yes?
Yes, thank you for your question. According to the constructive technological solution, I use the geosynthetic because the project managers include the geosynthetic to the constructive technological solution, and my work was to verify this constructive technological solution.
Okay, I said this because before Professor Blumenthal said about the lime, you use the lime only for doing some artificial soil, which you because of the chemical composition by the lime and soil, it is provide more porous, yes, more porous material you get, and this porous material you get like artificial soil, and after that you testing it with geosynthetic and not with and without geosynthetic, yes?
Yes, of course.
Okay,
yeah.
I understand. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Жанболат. I think it's maybe enough questions, or you have another questions? No questions, huh? Okay.
Can I?
So, okay, Dr. Gulnara Abayevna.
Ayjan, in your work, you using the example of bucket facility. You propose using pile foundations to improve collapsing soils. This method is quite common in practice. What are the specifics of the piles you use?
Thank you for your question. The bucket facility is built on collapsible soils. In addition to the road itself, the facility also included road structures such as bridges, overpasses, and overbridges. So the pile foundations are the priority when constructing these structures on wet or collapsible soils. And the reason for improving of collapsible soil by this foundation is due to the high load bearing capacity, reliability, economic and technological efficiency. So the piles used in the research talk that have relatively high values in the range. The average length of these piles ranges 24 meters.
On the slide, you presented the soil modeling by Mustakimov. Did he also use geosynthetical reinforcement?
Thank you for your question. Yes, I did use the method of modeling quasi-collapsible soils proposed by Valery Mustakimov. He is a candidate of technical science and associate professor of Kazan State University, and he investigated the collapsible soils. And in his monograph, investigation of collapsible soils reinforced by the vertical elements, he proposed of methodology for making quasi-collapsible soils by quicklime and loam. But no, he didn't use the geosynthetic materials. He used the mixture of Portland cement and gypsum for the vertical elements to the reinforcing quasi-collapsible soils. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
And this.
Okay.
And the last
Thank
question.
you.
Thank you. And the last question. You received a certificate of authorship. Could you please explain more about that?
This methodology is a complex guide to improving soil basis in collapsible areas. And the main users of this methodology is road construction organizations. The methodology contains three main components. It's the first engineering geological investigation. Second component, it's material selection, and third component is assessment and justification, constructive and technological solutions. Each component of this methodology is based on corresponding work processes according to the workflow of component 1, laboratory and field tests as required. Field tests in collapsible area mainly include static load test and plate bearing test. Second workflow component includes material selection, where I use geosynthetic materials. And third component includes assessment and justification of constructive and technological solutions with the test investigation. So, thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
answers.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for good questions, especially for Pavlodar University, Dr. Gulnara. Thank you for reply. I understood it's very good authorship. Contents she know very well, because I understood she worked more, maybe half year for receiving of this authorship certificate. Anyway, I think it's enough questions. So now, if no questions, right? So we now move to the next stage. The word will be given to scientific advisor, Dr. PhD, Associate Professor of Department of Civil Engineering, Nину Тулебека Василь Серикана, please.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Now I am going to briefly explain about the main points of work of Ayjan Jankina. I want to say that the results obtained during the study show the importance of taking into account such factors as the improvement of soil base with piles and terrain forms, with geosynthetics and design on subsidence areas. Also, I want to explain about Ayjan. I want to say that during her training, she showed her in positive side. She is hardworking and a person. She coped all tasks which we want to consider in research work, and also she independently published results of work in the journal, which include in Scopus database. And also I want to say that I think the thesis of the doctor PhD thesis of also Ayjan Jankina deserves to the awarded of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty of civil engineering, and I ask you to support her. Thank you so much.
Professor Askar, please.
Sorry. No questions for scientific advisor from members of council. No questions. Okay. So the word was given for scientific advisor, professor of Graduate School of Science and Technology for Innovations at Yamaguchi University, Professor Masauki Hyodo. So he now is absent. Some problem of his business trip in Japan. So she is emeritus professor, but still active. You know, Japanese emeritus professor more active than current full professors. So Jean-Paul Shahmov reads his review because he sent already review. Please.
Thanks, Professor Askar. So today I want to review of the professor, which is given to candidate for PhD degree, Ayjan Jankina, on the topic investigation of methods to improve soil bases in collapsible area, submitted for the scientific degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty 6D 07329 Civil Engineering. Firstly, it is the urgency of the topic. The construction of foundations, buildings, and structures on collapsible soils is an acute issue not only in Kazakhstan, but also worldwide. The danger of construction on subsidence soils is primarily the emergence of rapid, irregular sediments called collapse due to excessive moisture from the outside or rising groundwater table under the influence of load or the weight of the ground. Ensuring the strength and normal operation of foundation buildings and road constructions on collapsing soils is achieved. And methods of constructions, methods of improving and eliminating the collapsing soil properties, which are based on consideration of the nature, mechanisms, and regularity of collapsing deformations development. Improvement of the characteristics of collapsing soil basis is achieved by eliminating the subsidence properties of soils, cutting of collapsible soils by deep foundation, and reinforcing soil bases. In her dissertation, Investigation of Methods to Improve Soil Bases in Collapsible Areas, doctoral student Ayjan Jankina presents recommendations to improve soils' collapsible properties and justifies the method's effectiveness affecting the stability of structures in collapsible area. Second, scientific results within the requirements for thesis. The author has been able to publish more than 5 papers in local journals, 1 paper in international journals with a percentile of more than 25% in Scopus, and 2 papers in conference proceedings in local and international conferences. Number 3, degree of validity and credibility of each scientific results, summaries, and conclusion of the candidate formulated in the thesis. The research work presented in this PhD thesis expands and complements the knowledge about the effect of soil-based improvement in collapsible areas. It should be emphasized that the scientific goal of the thesis has been achieved. The conclusions of the thesis are fully documented and constituted an individual and original contribution to the knowledge of the investigation of methods for improving collapsible soil bases. Next, the scientific novelty, the achievements of the doctoral dissertation include the proposed recommendations, which include the application of complex research in the construction of road structures. Practical and theoretical significance, the proposed methods to improve the ground base in collapsible areas have been presented and successfully applied in constructing a road located in the southern region of Kazakhstan, which is a solution to one of the important problems associated with the difficulty with the operation of transport facilities. Comments on potential improvements based on a careful and detailed analysis of the text of PhD scientific internship and subsequent online meetings I can undoubtedly confirm that the author has done an outstanding job and that the thesis is ready for defense. Conclusions. The thesis of all the requirements for doctoral PhD thesis and its author, Jankiina, deserve to be awarded of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty of Civil Engineering. Seuki Hyoda, Professor Emeritus, Research Professor, Specially Designated Graduate School of Science and Technology for Innovation, Yamaguchi University, Ube, Yamaguchi, Japan. Thanks.
Dr. Rambo, thank you for your introductions. So this letter has a letter of confirmation has red Japanese stamp, right? Red Japanese stamp, right?
Yes.
Yes, very important.
Japanese
very important.
red stamp and his signature, natural signature.
Very important Japanese red stamp. So thank you. So now, will be any questions from members of dissertation council reviews to this letter of confirmation from Japanese professor Hyoda? Name of university very good, huh? Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi in Russian is I am strong. Japanese is very good name, Yamaguchi University. So if no questions, we will be moved to giving words for acting scientific secretary, Dr. Shakhmov. Please. Rambulat, microphone. Rambulat, microphone.
Yes. The file contains the protocol of the extended meeting of the department on the preliminary examination of the thesis of PhD student Jankiina A. The resolution is next. Resolution of the extended department meeting on the preliminary examination of thesis of PhD student Jankiina A, such as like this. Firstly, it is to approve the positive conclusion of the extended meeting of the Department of Civil Engineering of the Alan Gumilev Eurasian National University on September 12, 2022. It should be noted that the extended meeting of the department was attended by foreign scientists, such as Professor Mahdi Karkush from Baghdad University, Iraq, postdoctoral student Dr. Dania from Chennai University, India. Relevance and significance of the research theme of investigation of Ayjan Jankiina. Secondly, to recommend the thesis of PhD student Jankiina A entitled Investigation of Methods to Improve Soil Bases in Collapsible Areas, submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, in the specialty of Civil Engineering for defense on the dissertation Council, Architecture and Construction. Okay. Professor Askar, please.
Okay, thank you, Professor Jambulat. So will there any questions from members of dissertation council reviews for these presentations of Dr. Shakhmov? No questions. The word will be giving for reviews, official reviews, Doctor of Technical Science, Professor of the Faculty of General Constructions of Kazakh Leading Architecture Civil Engineering Academy, Almaty, Republic of Kazakhstan, Professor Дюсембаев Визим Насиевич. Please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Allow me to report a review of the scientific work of the applicant Ayjan Jankiina. As you know, the review is based on the compliance of the content of the dissertation with certain criteria. So the first criterion. The thesis corresponds to the priority direction of science development approved by the high scientific and technical commission under the government of the Republic Kazakhstan. The second criterion, the work does make a significant contribution to science and is important, is well discovered. The third criterion, a level of self-reliance high. The fourth criterion, rational for the relevance of this thesis justified. This is 4.1, and then 4.2. The content of this reflects to topic of the thesis. Reflects 4.3. The goal and objectives of consist with the topic of the thesis. Conform to 4.5. New solutions proposed by the author are argued and evaluate of comparison with known solution. Critical analysis is the fifth criterion. 5.1 are the scientific results and statement new, particularly new. 75% are new. Next. 5.2 are the conclusion of the thesis new, particularly new. 75% are new. 5.3 technical, technological, economic solutions are new and reasonable. Particularly new, 75% are new. The sixth criterion. All major conclusions are in scientifically valid evidence. The seventh criterion. The following question must be answered on each statement individually. Are the statement proven? Yes, proven. 7.2. Is it trivial? No. 7.3. Is it new? Yes. 7.4. Level for application. Broad. Does the article prove? Yes. The eighth criterion. Principle of credibility, reliability of source and information provided. 8.1. Choice of methodology justified. Yes. 2.2. The results of the thesis work are obtained using modern methods of scientific research and methods of proceeding and in interpreting data using computer technologies. Yes. 8.3. Theoretical conclusions. Models identify relationship and pattern are proved and confirmed by external research. Yes. 8.4. Important statements are validated with reference to current and credible scientific literature. 8.5. Literature sources used are sufficient for the literature review. Next, the principle of practical value. The ninth criterion. The principle of practical value. 9.1. The thesis is of theoretical significance. Yes. 9.2. The thesis has practical significance, and there is a high probability of applying the results in practice. Yes. 9.3. Are the proposal for practice new, particularly new? 75 are new. The 10th criterion. Quality of writing and design. The answer, the quality of academic writing is high. And next, therefore, the dissertation of Жанкина А on the topic investigation of methods to improve soil bases in collapsible areas executed at a high scientific level. The relevance of the work, goals, and objective of the research, the relevance of the work, goals, and objectives of the research, scientific novelty, and practical significance obtained meet the requirements of rules for degrees award of the Committee of the Ministry of Science and Higher Education of the Republic Kazakhstan, and consider that the author Жанкина А worthy to receive a Doctor of Philosophy degree on special construction. And thank you for attention.
Thank you, Professor Zimnasevich. Some questions. You have some questions or comments, and Dr. Zimnasevich? No questions.
Yes.
I
have one question. Yeah, it's interesting. What does the word quasi-grunt mean? I don't understand what that is about. Квазигрунт. Я нигде не нашел, не знаю, что такое квазигрунт. Это, ну, как сказать, общий такой. Квазигрунт.
Можно я отвечу? Спасибо. Квазигрунт – это смоделированный просадочный грунт, который называется квазигрунт, предложенный Валерием Мустакимовым, кандидатом технических наук, доцентом Казанского государственного университета, этот грунт состоит из негашенной извести и глины, суглинка нарушенной структуры. И вот когда их смешивают в разных пропорциях, получает смесь. После замачивания этой смеси происходит увеличение в объеме из-за того, что известь происходит реакция между известью и водой. И за счет этого образуются макропоры. Поэтому этот грунт называется квазипросадочный грунт, то есть смоделированный грунт.
Oh, thank you so much. Спасибо.
Это как бы сказать. Окей.
Продвинутый
материал.
Новые, это уже
материал.
Новые термины в науку вносят.
Эквивалентный материал, который, как бы сказать, имитирует натурный грунт.
Я нигде не нашел, но я хоть узнаю. Думал, искал.
Казанский университет, он всегда был впереди насчет просадочных грунтов.
Да.
Татары очень сильно изучают, там 70% просадки. Спасибо, Зимнасевич, за вопрос. If no question for our reviewer, we can maybe give possibility for Ayjan reply for questions, да?
Yes, yeah, I fully agree with the Professor Zimnasevich because the influence of the environment, especially hydrology, is one of the most factors to be considered when designing structures, buildings, or roads on unstable soils such as collapsible soils. And for the completeness of the picture, should have reflected more data on my thesis work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayjan. So, is Zimnasevich okay?
Thank you.
You agree? Thank you.
Yes,
so now,
yes, I agree.
Yes, thank you very much. So, if no other questions for this interaction between reviewer and the students, so we will be give words for next official reviewer, Dr. доктор технических наук, профессор Пронозин. Яков
Hello,
Александрович.
dear colleagues.
Please.
Thank you very much, Professor Subekov. We have some problems with electricity and with light. I don't know. We are waiting when computer will work, and I am on a telephone in the phone now. I, as a reviewer, have written and sent my review on this work to the council. This thesis meets all the criteria of a science work, I think. That's why in my speech I want to express my personal opinions and ask a few questions. Indeed, the topic of this work is highly significant, taking into account that collapsible areas take large. The areas with unstable grounds may occupy a greater part of some countries. It relates to Kazakhstan as well. It is a big problem because this ground, when saturated with water, has a significant uneven and impermissible drawdown. This problem becomes more difficult due to many options of building and ground constructions. In order to solve this serious problem of building, the author develops recommendations to improve construction quality and efficiency in collapsible areas. I would note, first of all, full references about investigations of collapsible soils, analysis of existing methods for their improvement, and a large number of experiments in the laboratory and field. Despite my positive evaluation of this science work of Жанкиной А, I have some questions and comments. The first, why do you have a decreasing speed of plate settlement under increasing load? It is first question.
Thank you for your question. When the load increases, a large area under the stamp is formed, and due to this, the resistance decreases. I think it's why the decreased speed settlements of plate under increasing load.
Okay, maybe. How would you define the length of pile if you didn't know it? I cannot find characteristic peaks or particular points on the graphic.
The length of the piles is determined. It can determine by indirectly based on the time interval measured by the instrument time, and the wave speed in the pile is considered by the formula where the length is equal to speed multiplied by the time and divided by 2. It's an indirectly method. Usually, when conducting the pile integrity test, the engineers know the project length of the pile usually.
Yes, but not always. And the same question: what speed of wave did you take into account in material, in concrete pile?
The average in primary processing, the speed of the acoustic, the speed of wave is taken 3,800 meters per second as a recommended in standard development of testing piles for uniformity. And this stage, characteristic response signals are determined.
Okay, thank you. And how can you use experimental results in design practice if the ground conditions will be changed in other practice?
When changes the properties of soils, you can apply the methodology of complex tests presented in my thesis. Of course, this method cannot to be applied to the rocks, for example.
Okay, and the last question. What do you think about cementing the collapsible soils for to strengthening it? Cementation.
Cementation is usual, I think, usual practice to improve the properties, to improve the collapsible properties of the soil. But in the work practice, use constructive technological solutions, even though that use the cementation.
Okay, thank you. That's all. Thank you
very much.
Thank you, Professor Yakov Alexandrovich. So I think it's now we move to discussions. At the beginning discussions, the following of discussions, all participants, including our members of council, can participate for discussions. So please, who like speak? The first.
Professor Askar, can I speak?
Yes, Bumi, yes.
Yeah.
Professor Bumi, please.
Yeah. I overall agree that she has done wonderful work. Particularly, she has done both the laboratory as well as field test to demonstrate the proposed technology can work, particularly for pile foundations. I congratulate to her as well as her supervisor for guiding this excellent work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Bumethan. So fortunately, we cannot look your face, but anyway, we listen to your very nice voice from Madras, Chennai. So please, next, who will be also make some discussions, points? You have many active words, but discussions, nobody won't speak. Interesting, though.
Professor,
please.
Yes. Topic is very interesting because now in Kazakhstan in the road construction mainly they use for improvement of the soil ground, the body of the road, because each year we have a lot of big lorries, big machines with very heavy load to the roadside. So therefore, I think this topic is very important regarding to this. But mainly now in Kazakhstan, they not using only geosynthetic, they also use the cement materials, about 6-8%, sometimes even 10% of the cement they recycling with the soil ground and with the body of the road. So I think in the future it will be a very interesting topic if such as binder materials in the soil, binding materials on the soil, they not only cement, but if our doctoral students find some methods how to decrease the binding materials such as cement, maybe using some other materials, organic or non-organic materials. I think this is a big topic because now Kazakhstan is located in the very a lot of corridors going through the Kazakhstan from the west to the east, from the east to the west. So therefore, I think it is very important.
Thank you, Dr. Jabulat. Any discussions, comments, or remarks, please?
Can I ask a question?
Please, Professor Agnieszka Dabska from Poland.
I would like to ask the question, how many % of Kazakh's territory is covered by such soils? For me, it's interesting. Such collapsible soils, how many % of territory of Kazakhstan? More or less.
A third of the territory. A third.
So you've got a lot of work.
I know that the collapsible soils covered in south and east south parts of the Kazakhstan.
It is the construction is active on this part of Kazakhstan?
Yes, also yes, of course, is active. But they should be considered about the properties, about the collapsible properties of the soil and seismically active.
So your subject is very actual, you know. So we've got a lot of work. So thank you very much for your answer.
Yes, thank you. So no another comments, remarks? If no, I won't say very few words about this work, about this job, about this activity of Ayjan, our students. She is a real made and make a great job, because you know it is not so easy, not only for women, also for men. The work regarding of field test and the contact with the foreign client. You know, is Almaty is some distance from Astana. You know, the Turkish company together is consortium with Korean two companies. It's very sensitive companies. So Dr. Ayjan made good interactions, and we have received very good letter about acknowledgement about her activity in Bakat project. This is first. And second, I won't say she also very active in our department. We organize several workshops and seminars, especially we organize one of big exhibition in Australia, Sydney. So this time she made a good presentation and also participated with the national dress. You know, usually I support some students. I have support possibility I had. But Ayjan said it is no problem. For her, I understood $5,000 not so big money, small money. So she finds she won the money because already Dabska Agnieszka said many job in Kazakhstan. So 1 kilogram is Australian dollars and move to Sydney there and work with us. So she very helpful for us, especially we obtain ICMG board, we have elections. Also we have council meeting, we bring to Astana. So 13 August will be 90 societies come to Astana. So each society represents about 2% total. So 200 people will be coming and joined with before 70 Nation Regional Conference. It will be a big amount of foreign people come, you know, like international typhoon. So now we preparation our body. So today, Dr. Dania informed me already 10,000 coming from Sky for supporting. Especially two companies give for us, send to us exhibitions fee for payment. It is Finland company and another company from United States. So I hope also Asian company will support, and also I hope maybe Russia will be coming. You know, with Russia, our brother also can coming and support, like participate. But anyway, I just made a good job. So I hope everybody will support, especially for PhD, because it is a good scientific researcher in future, very responsibility person, and has young generations background. So we hope she will be help us also organize 70 nation regional conferences, not only Sydney. I hope Ayjan will be also help, because her friend will become from Sydney, from another country. She has many friends, I inspect. Anyway, thank you for your attention, and also I hope each council meeting and also review will be voting for her. So no other remarks? If no, so we will move to next stage. So now we move to holding of secret voting by smart system. Still we work like USSR system, Soviet Union system. Usually, any country maybe no secret voting, but we follow of Stalin system. I give the word to scientific secretary.
So to conduct a secret voting, you need to select a PhD student, Жанкиной А, from the list in the smart KZ system and clicking the button conducting defense. The voting window opens and you can choose one of the options and pressing the voting button. And after that, we could complete the voting. So please, now we should work with the smart system. Okay. So Professor Buminatan now is finishing voting. Professor Жукенова Гунарабена also finishing. Professor Kotov and Agnieszka also voting, finishing. Professor Askar finishing. And there are left two opponents, Professor Izim Nasivich and Professor Yakov Alexandrovich.
Dear colleagues, I have some problems, but we have a light and my computer is working now. Just a moment.
Okay.
I'm connecting.
So before finishing of these two voting, by Izim Nasivich and also
Professor
Yakov Alexandrovich.
Professor Izim Nasivich is finishing. We have left only Professor Yakov Alexandrovich.
У меня прошло, да, все нормально?
Все нормально,
Да, все нормально.
Хорошо, а то я пока нашел.
So we have for commission for reporting of secret voting, we have commission 3 persons. So I propose Nara Baevna Жукенова, Dr. Agnieszka Dabska, and Dr. Kotov Pavel Igorevich. So anyway, Yakov Alexandrovich, you also finalizing your voting?
Yes. Just a moment. I'm going to start smart now.
Okay.
Так, я ухожу в проведение защиты, да? Также. И регистрирую.
Да. Все правильно. Вот так же, как вы заходили туда, так же и в ту вкладку нажимаете.
Я уже вижу, да.
И у вас внизу будет 4 опции.
Да. Все, голосую. Ой.
Так, все, Яков Александрович, вы проголосовали.
Да, теперь, Гульнара,
Спасибо.
наверное, мы попросим из 3 нашей комиссии, профессор Жукенова, профессор Дабский и профессор Котов, мы попросим, наверное, Гульнару, да? Гульнару Абаевну прочитать, да? Гульнара Абаевна, вы видите общий счет, да? Микрофон включите. Гульнара Абаевна. Гульнара Абаевна, микрофон включите.
Да, включила. Ага. Да, я вижу.
У вас есть это уже?
Да, я вижу результаты голосования. На данный момент зарегистрированных 9, проголосовали 8.
На английском, можно на английском, да. Английском.
Number of registered 9.
Глобально можете зачитывать.
Give a voice 8 persons.
Okay.
And conclusion. Так, присудить степень доктора философии по профилю 8 человек, то есть 100%.
На английском можешь сказать, да?
Сейчас, минуточку. У меня тут немножко зависает. Сейчас, минуточку, подождите, извиняюсь. Sorry, сейчас у меня тут. Award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy or Doctor of the Profile. 8 persons. За присуждение степени доктора философии, доктор по профилю, 8 человек проголосовали за.
So thank you very much, Dr. Gulnara. So voting is complete. So one person from our defense committee cannot voting because Tulebek Vasil, she is advisor of Dr. PhD students. So now it's okay. Anyway, 100% voting. So so members of our defense committee, I think we must be approved of this protocol, which already read it of Dr. Zhukenova. So please vote. Who against? Who for? Okay. By hand.
Vote.
And who is against?
For.
No. Abstain? No. So the protocol commission is approved fully. So based on public defense and review and official reviews of the results of secret vote, the Dissertation Council of Directions of Trade of Defense Examination of Architecture and Constructions, Dr. PhD program in specialty of civil engineering in the UNU decided to award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty civil engineering to Жанкиной А. Let's move to discussion of the draft conclusions. So before going to draft conclusions, I think everybody has these conclusions, right? Conclusions, everybody has, right? So the first, these theoretical statements or scientific problem or scientifically justified technical. So I think it will be maybe second one, solution of scientific problem of important social, culture, economic or political importance like this. Okay, second. And okay, you agree? Okay. So level of novelty. I think some of the results are not new. So we have results as new, some of the results are not new, much the results of not new. So maybe second, second one. Okay. and the value of these results higher, satisfactory and unsatisfactory. Also maybe 0.2 satisfactory. And the relation of this thesis of blended research. I think also second one, the topic included of basic research program, industry program, plans of scientific organizations, and higher educational institution. I think because he related with BACAT projects, it's real very big institutions. And also second, another point is the level of implementations. So I think this will be number 3, industry-wide, okay? So if you agree regarding of this case, of course, we will be, we must be also voting. Who for? Okay, 100%. Against, abstain, no. The final words we give to PhD students. So I congratulate the first of our PhD students after the defense examination with good results, especially for good voting, Ayjan. And I hope you have good luck in future, especially for your life and also in the research like scientific life. Please, your final words.
Thank you. Thanks for all participants of my defense for giving their precious time. And I want to express my gratitude to my supervisor Tulbek Vasil Sergovna and Professor Ruspek Faskar Japarovich for the support all these years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ayjan, for your words. So I think this meeting now is considered to over. But anyway, I want congratulate with the coming Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I know this Merry Christmas important, especially for foreign country, because in our country we not understand. We understand the Russian Orthodox Christmas. But anyway, I congratulate with Merry Christmas, and also with the coming New Year. New Year. I hope with New Year will be new, nice life. No COVID-19 will be attack our bodies, and also maybe this war between of Ukraine and Russia will be stopped. And also first point is will be our full flight is will be open, because many people want to go to south part of Russia, and also we won't go to some European countries through Russia, you know, in Ukraine. But you know, we have long distance for moving. It is maybe no good, no good. So anyway, I congratulate, and I also hope each members of council meeting will be visit of 70 Nation Regional Conference in August. I hope it will be very nice time for meeting each other offline, not online, because online is not effective, because we don't know it is this person or not another person. And also online is, you know, like virtual communication is also not good, maybe for scientific, for special, we have some special sensitive, some connection. It is very important. So offline may be better. So anyway, Happy New Year. If you have some words, please also say something if you like.
Thank you, Professor Askar, for invitation. The meeting was held very successfully. Congratulations to the student and her supervisors. Thank you. Happy New Year to all of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Dr. Bumi. I coming only maybe 3 or 4 days maybe ago, maybe 3 days ago from India. It's a fantastic country. I recommend you next year will be Roorkee conference, Indian annual conference each year in December in Roorkee, not so long distance from Delhi. I recommend you because it is good weather, good food, nice reception. You know, it's a fantastic country. I like India. I hope in India also will become to 70 Nation Regional Conference.
Yes.
Especially sari. We have good sari, you know, fantastic sari. Very nice. So we will recommend for Geo Roorkee. I already recommended some workshop, small workshop, Geosari, especially for foreigner. Visiting of good place in bazaar, make this Geosari and coming to workshop and make some presentation. It will be very good.
Thank you, Professor Askar, for nice words about India. Okay. We will all come
Also,
to
Professor.
ARC. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Also, I congratulate you again
Thank
as
you,
annual
thank you.
lecturer
Bye.
of India.
Thank you.
Professor Bumi was annual lecturer this year in Kochi. There's
Yes.
one position, 1,000 people.
Yes.
Tender competition.
Yes.
You know,
Delegates.
and our
Yes.
representative who is graduated in Moscow, who in Moscow University Дружбы Народов, he became annual lecturer. It is fantastic results. Destroy everybody who study United States, UK, and some another European country. Russian is good, no problem. Russian knowledge.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
For your good lecture.
Thank you. Nice words.
So, if no another
I would-
words,
I would
okay,
like
Professor
also-
Dapka.
I would like also to congratulate to Ayjan. I think we didn't meet each other. I don't remember exactly, but it's a very good work. So my congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for all the
Fortunately, we
wishes.
have long distance.
Thank you
So
for
sorry?
all the wishes. Christmas time is coming.
Yes.
Thank you
I
very
like
much.
both. I like both Christmas, also European and also Western style. Also, I like Russian style. No problem. We international nations. International.
Thank you.
Each nation for us like friend, colleagues, or relative. Please. Okay. If Yakov, you want something? Say no, Yakov.
Oh, I congratulate Ayjan you with this big step in your life. This big step. I wish you big professional success. You are very young and all life in the future.
Thank you
Not
for
only young, also beautiful, important, Yakov.
Yes, of course.
I also want to congratulate Ayjan to your successful defense, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So see you next year. We have another defense examinations dependent from sensor monitoring of foundation slab of high-rise building Abu Dhabi Plaza. IGRIM students also lady, also by English. So we will inform you additional. Maybe it will be February, maybe. Okay. So thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.